Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on Thursday, February 23, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want to access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comment section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comment section below. Xavier versus Seton Hall. Seton Hall is currently a 1-point underdog, so there is more value just taking them to win the game. Xavier is being overvalued. Zach Freemantle and his 15.2 PPG and 8.1 RPG will not be in this game. Since he has gone down, the Musketeers have gone downhill. They have lost 3 of their last 4, including bad losses to Butler and Villanova. Seton Hall has more of a reason to be motivated for this one. Xavier likely makes the tournament no matter what, but Seton Hall needs to keep improving their resume. The Pirates have a great opportunity to pick up a win against a ranked team that is slipping right now. Seton Hall's guards are solid, and Samuel will be tough enough inside to limit Xavier's remaining big Jack Nunge. This is a great spot for Seton Hall. Take Seton Hall to win at home. This will be a tightly contested Big East battle that will stay under the total. Xavier typically plays with a fast tempo, but this is accounted for in the total, proven by Xavier going under in 4 straight games. Seton Hall is at home, and has strong ball handlers in Richmond and Dawes that will not turn the ball over and lead to quick scores. Seton Hall plays slow, their tempo is ranked 191st in the nation. The Pirates do not score at an efficient rate, their offense is only ranked 172nd. Seton Hall has hit the under in 9 of their last 12 games. Follow the recent trends and trust these strong guards to take care of the ball and limit fast break points. Take the under 146 points. Siena College versus Rider. Siena has lost 4 out of the last 5 games against the spread, but have won 2 of the last 3 ATS on the road. The Bronx have won 5 of the last 7 against the spread. While Rider did lose to Siena earlier this year, they played them very tough on the road and the game came down to the wire. With Rider playing very well at home recently, look for them to control this game from opening tip-off. Take Rider minus 1.5 points. Each team has gone over the point total in 2 of their last 3 games. Rider has gone over in 2 of the last 3 games at home as well. Siena and Rider currently ranked 261st and 292nd in pace of play respectively. Most signs point to a higher scoring affair. Look for this game to over. Fairfield versus Niagara. Taking Fairfield to cover their spread in this one for multiple reasons. I have a good feeling about the Stags coming in there on the road and getting a win. Also worth noting, Fairfield has a 8-4 record against the spread on the road, while Niagara has a 5-5 record against the spread at home. Fairfield has a slight edge in points per game, as well as in defense and rebounding, which makes me all the more confident in this pick. The Stags have covered in 4 of their past 5 Friday games, and in 4 of their past 5 road games against a team with a winning record. Meanwhile, Niagara has failed to cover in 5 of their past 7 games following a loss, and I expect the trends to hold true here, making me confident in taking Fairfield to cover their spread in this one. Our team pick is Fairfield plus 2 points. Despite popular belief, I like the over in this one. Both teams average and allow about 65 points per game on the season, with Fairfield averaging 64.8 points per game while allowing 64.9, and Niagara averaging 64.5 points per game while allowing 65.1. These averages already put the expected total at about 130, almost 5 points higher than the given total. Last time these teams faced off, the game did go under a similar total, however that was early on in the season and both teams have improved since then. Niagara has gone over in their past 4 Friday games, and in 5 of their past 6 home games, while Fairfield has gone over in their past 4 games against a team with a winning record, making me confident in taking the over for this matchup. Our total pick is over 124.5 points. Iona versus Mount St. Mary's. In the earlier game between the two, it was over at halftime, with Iona owning a 48-18 lead. Iona is 4-0 against the spread in its last 4 road games. Overall, the Gales are 5-5 ATS on the road, but Mount St. Mary's is just 3-9 ATS at home. During its 7-game win streak, Iona's average margin of victory was 16.2 points, with the largest single game being the 30-point win over Mount St. Mary's. In addition, the Mountaineers are 0-7 ATS in their last 7 games following a straight-up win. Our team pick is take Iona -10 points. During its 7-game win streak, Iona has only been in 2 games that went over 137 points. Recent metrics also favor the under for Iona. In Iona's last 6 games overall, the under is 6-0. The under is 10-1 in Iona's last 11 games following an ATS win. Iona was -11 against St. Peter's and won by 20. On the other hand, the over is 5-0 in Mount St. Mary's last 5 games overall. The key will be 3-point defense. The Mountaineers shoot the 3 well, .360, but Iona entered Thursday 10th nationally in 3-point field goal defense, .289. In the first game, Iona held Mount St. Mary's to 5 of 22 3-point shooting, .227. The Iona defense should keep the score down. Take under 137 points. St. Peter's versus Canisius. When diving into the adjusted efficiency margin provided by Ken Palm, there is a sizable difference as the Peacocks are 316th in the nation with a -12.59 rating, while the Golden Griffins are 261st in college basketball with a -7.84 rating thus far. There is a drastic difference offensively as of late, as St. Peter's is averaging 58.3 points in their last 4 games, while Canisius is scoring 80 points in their previous 3 games. The home team is 4-1-1 ATS in their last 6 games against one another, so go with the Canisius Golden Griffins to cover the spread here. Our team pick is Canisius Golden Griffins -5 points. Both programs are doing a great job of grabbing offensive rebounds, as Canisius is 115th in the sport with 9 offensive rebounds per game, while St. Peter's is all the way up at 12th in the country with 11.4 offensive rebounds per game thus far. Looking at the defensive outputs in their last few games, the Peacocks are allowing 69.8 points in their previous 4 games, while the Golden Griffins are giving up 74.6 points in their last 5 games. The over has hit in 9 of the last 13 Peacocks road games against a team with a losing home record, as well as in 7 of the previous 8 Golden Griffins games, so go with the over to hit in this matchup. Our total pick is over 132 points. Marist versus Manhattan. The last meeting between these two came over 2 months ago, with Manhattan taking an 80-69 win on the road. The Jaspers shot very well in that game with a 53.1% field goal percentage, while Marist shot a touch above their season average with a 44.4% field goal percentage. The Jaspers hit 14 3-pointers to Marist's 8, and they out-rebounded the hosts, 29-26. The Red Foxes were 4-5 overall heading into that game, but have gone 5-12 since and have shown little to no signs of being much better than they were in that first matchup. And while Manhattan's shooting and scoring has been a bit below their season averages in their last 5 games, they seem to have corrected things in their last game versus Fairfield, shooting 56.3% from the field. Manhattan is 5-0 ATS in their last 5 games versus a team with a losing record, and 5-1 ATS in their last 6 overall. Take the Jaspers -4.5 points. The combined score of the last matchup was 149 points, which sailed over the 130.5 total put on that matchup. The total is pretty much the same in this one, but these teams, having trudged through the rigors of almost an entire conference schedule, are far different than the ones who played back on December 19th. Things were much fresher for both sides back then, and the shine was still on the season. That is not the case here, as both sides limp to the finish and hope for conference tourney luck. In their last 4 games, Marist has twice scored 61 points, and also had tallies of 65 and 56. In their last 10 games they have scored 57 or less 5 times. The Jaspers finished games with final scores of 60 and 56 in their last 4 games, and over their last 10 games they have scored 65 or less on 5 occasions. The under is 3-1 in Manhattan's last 4 games. The Ken Palm tempo rating also tell us this won't be a high score, with Manhattan ranked 185th and Marist ranked 266th. Take the under 130 points.
Richmond vs VCU. VCU already covered the spread once this season against Richmond, winning by 12, despite entering the game as a 1.5-point underdog. The Spiders fell into VCU's trap, literally and figuratively, and committed an uncharacteristic 15 turnovers. They also shot just 37% against the Rams' defense. VCU tends to turn up the heat even more on its home floor, which could spell trouble for a visiting Richmond team that doesn't feature an elite point guard. Burton possesses the ball on the perimeter a lot, and he turned it over 6 times against VCU last month. The Rams have covered in 3 of their last 5 as they try to inch closer to the A10 regular season title. Richmond has only covered in 2 of its last 10 games. VCU gets more consistent production from its role players and is trustworthy at home, especially in a rivalry game. I'll take the Rams to cover. Richmond is cranking things up offensively in recent weeks, averaging 80.5 points per game across its last 4 contests. The over has hit in 3 of those 4 games. Meanwhile, VCU has not allowed more than 62 points in any of its last 5 home games. The under has hit in 7 of VCU's last 10 games, so something has to give on Friday night. VCU doesn't score a ton of points, but the Rams' pressure defense helps speed up the game a little bit. The Rams play at the nation's 141st fastest adjusted tempo, according to KenPom. Richmond's is much slower at number 284. The numbers suggest this could go either way, so I'm putting weight on the fact that Richmond scored 81 points in its first game under the interim head coach against a St. Louis team that is in the top 50 nationally in field goal defense. Perhaps the change has ignited Richmond's offense. Both teams scored more than 80 points in their most recent games. I'll take the over 133 points. Marshall vs Old Dominion. Motivation is clearly on Marshall's side for this game, and with them being the better team on both ends of the floor, an offense that can outscore most teams even on an off day, and facing a team that could go through the motions, it's all about backing the Thundering Herd for me. Old Dominion was one of the few that managed to hold Marshall below 75 points this year, as the first meeting was a 73-65 Marshall win. ODU covered the 10 points they were getting that day, thanks to an outright lead at the half, but nearly everything went right for ODU, and they still lost by 8. The Monarchs shot 52% from the floor, 50% from 3, got Marshall to shoot 50% from the FT line, and still somehow lost by 8. Don't see how that's anything but a bad omen for Old Dominion in the rematch, as we've now got some very likely regression to the mean for nearly all those stat lines, and a clear motivational edge favoring Marshall trying to win the conference, and ODU having nothing really to play for. Not sure that the Thundering Herd will be able to survive the Sun Belt tournament completely unscathed, but they get at least their first trophy of the year with a Sioux Nats win over Old Dominion to give them the Sun Belt regular season title. Our team pick is Marshall -4 points. With the way Marshall wins are correlated with high offensive output from the Thundering Herd, you'd think that Marshall wins will also cash over tickets, and recently that's been the case. The over is 5-0 in Marshall games during this 5-game win streak, as it's been Marshall and their 84+ points in each of those games that's done the bulk of the work. Yet, even with those 5 consecutive overs, Marshall's still just 15-14 OU for the season. Which means that at one point a few weeks ago, a 19-6 Marshall team that you'd think would have plenty of overs correlated with those 19 wins was actually 10-14 OU for the year. Odds makers are well aware of how streaky these talented offenses like Marshall can be, and after 5 straight over results, it may get to a point where these totals are starting to lead to the high side of the release range. Even with minimal to play for, ODU's still going to want to slow the pace of this game down as much as possible. Remember, I don't expect the Monarchs to shoot 50% from the floor again, which obviously helps any underselection, but ODU is still going to want to try and dictate their slower style on the game to at least give themselves a chance. ODU is 5-9 OU in home games this year as well. Therefore, my money went on playing under this total, as I do lean towards the idea that these Marshall totals are starting to get a little too high, regardless of their opponent. ODU has no interest in running with Marshall for 40 minutes, and if it's a case where ODU no-shows early, and Marshall goes on to claim a conference title in a rout, sitting on the ball and bleeding the shot clock late is always a friend of any underplay. Finally, with such a quick turnaround in play for both teams having just a single day off, ODU's 4-5 OU record and Marshall's 4-7 OU record with a single day of rest can't be ignored either. It's the last game of a long season, having played just 48 hours ago. Would anyone be surprised if tired legs helped contribute to an under result? I definitely wouldn't. Our total pick is under 151 points.